go to the Unix box. Command prompt. Go to Oracle Home. CD. Then go to network folder. There is a drive called directory called network. Type cd direct network and tab. Click on tab.
Tab.
Yeah. Enter. And click on, now there is one directory called admin. Click cd ad and then tab. Enter. Now list file over here. Now cat tns.ora. tns name.ora. Enter. There's nothing in the tns.ora. Enter. Oh, now you have a file called backup also. Now cat that file tns names.ora underscore backup. So what is the name of the file? lsfnltr. Yeah, cat copy that file name.
All right.
Yeah, now cat that file. This is also blank.
Yeah, yesterday is showing this. Can't understand.
Okay, lsfnltr again. TNS, you have 3 TNS files. Okay, let's do one thing. Cat tns.backup. This have the entry. Now do one thing. Type cat. Say same command. Can this file name. Now space front arrow. Arrow, no slash. Arrow button. This will be arrow option. Arrow. No.
Just a minute.
Just a
Not
moment.
getting.
No. You might have it have asked for the access. Give me the access to screen. what is PD name you have given? PDP1 or 2?
For export, PDP only.
You have created 2 PDPs. Am I right?
Yeah,
So what is the name you have given?
PDP.
So you have test PDP underscore 1, PDP1, test PDP1, test PDP2. So you have this much of PDP. This no issue. Now, just understand this thing. You have to copy this one and tag this one.
Okay.
This. Copy, paste. Now, just imagine this one. This test PDP. Okay, test PDP1 is test PDP2. This test PDP2 belongs to this. Test PDP2. Test underscore PDP2. Now come down. Again, you will see underscore option. Underscore PDP2.
Yeah.
So in this way, what you have to do is like, now go to this file. Already there. B TNS underscore 100. Now we have now offer like you have created multiple PDPs. For every PDP, you have to give the name of the PDP first. PDP name would be given with the help of show PDPs. You have to give the same name, and then under service name, you should give the listener name which is showing on the listener status. Now, example, now this is my test PDP. We have PDP2 also. So I have test PDP2. Copy till.com. Okay. Now for every PDP, you have to enter this PDP. So you should see something underscore PDP1 in the service name. First PDP1 already there. This PDP must go to service name. And also, if you want, you can do one thing, service name. Yes, we active. Column service name. $8 active services. That's global name. Small font. Okay, so this is the one. Okay, you have to go to your PDP and find the name which is associated by that specific PDP, the service name. Now I'm going to have enter to change PDP. Now, if I want to go out of this one, now to check what should be the service name. I have given the PDP name, service name. So first thing is you have to change alteration set equals to select name from Vidal Active Services. So this would be your service name over here. Now we have given in the VI service name. When you go to VI name.org. So this is going to be the PDP name. Okay. So PDP name address is where its address in the service name. Okay. So if you have multiple database, first is database name. This is a PDP name, database name. That's a unique name. and it's gonna go to the host. So this host have multiple databases name with the same port number. So with the help of this service now, it's going to identify to which database you want to connect. So it's like the pin code. Now it's like a pin code. So you have on the same pin code, you have multiple address. There are multiple people who have the same pin code. So we'll go to the pin code, get this database name, and this is service name from which it's going to identify to which database it wants to connect. So if you do not have this databases, this informations, you cannot perform the database connections or any kind of operations. Okay. Now you can stop screen sharing. Hot backup. Cold backup. What this backups means for? Let's understand. Hot backup means users are active. Users are active second, database is in transactional mode. That means database is up and running, your application or everything is going on, everything is fine. Okay. Every second there is DML, DDL, DCL in database. So do you know what is DML, DDL, DCL? So there are options. So now you can just figure out what is DML DDL tomorrow. We'll check that one later on. But let's understand this is DML, data manipulation, data definition. Like somebody's creating schema, somebody is updating schema, somebody deleting schema, somebody is querying that schemas. So there is a number of operations going on. At the same time, you want to back up your databases. Example would be your production. Now you want to take a backup of production database. Do you think you can shut down database for the production? Can you afford that much of time for the production application databases to be down and take a backup?
Usually no.
No, 100% no. No, none of the company does that. Okay, they want to make sure that the database happens during the online transaction. What the option they can they like maybe do off the business hours.
Yeah,
Usually. Okay, how the business strategies decide backup strategy. Backup. First would be during non-business hour. Like now my database size is huge, very huge. I have almost 1 TB of database size. This for this much of database size 1 TB, I need at least 4 to 5, 6 hours of backup. So what they do, full backup called enter full backup happens in weekend or once in a week. Once a week. Daily would be incremental backup. That's the backup strategy decided by the company. Okay. Now, in case of cold backup, which was old, but maybe some company might prefer to do that. Whether it's a hot backup or cold backup, Your target is that you need a consistent backup. Whatever backup you have taken, the data should be consistent. Target for both databases is same, consistent backup. Consistent backup means till time backup, till time. Now imagine I'm taking a backup at 12, let's say 12 midnight AM. So I want all the transactions which have been occurred in the database to be taken as a backup, as a part of that backup. So I need the database to be consistent. In hot backup, I cannot put my database in down and take the backup. So when you shut down the databases, definitely no transaction is going on. Over here, no active user. No live are going on. Third, database is not accessible to anyone except whom?
DB.
Yes, only DBA.
Yeah, DB.
DBA can only access because DBA 2 needs an access to database for performing backup also. Okay. And now let's see the disadvantages. What would the disadvantage for hot backup?
It might be slow.
So backup is something which is running on the same database. Hot backup, cold backup. Definitely slow because number of users are connected. That means there are some kind of CPUs, RAM being used by the user for transaction. Slow. What else?
There may be chance that some data is missed.
Correct. Data consistency can't be guaranteed. What is the option? What is this? Storage. Because you have to perform database every day. Storage. Now let's understand what is the disadvantages for cold backup. First, would be DB is down. So the application, so the end users. Second, impact to business because database is down, so nobody can perform any kind of actions. So imagine some company might work 24/7.
Okay.
Third, manual intervention. because you're performing cold backup, definitely you have to shut down. Somebody have to go to shut down, perform the backup. Once the backup is completed, sanity check will be done, performance backup. Then somebody gonna start the database. What if somebody forgets to do that the same thing, or somebody might be busy, somebody's not well, somebody's on leave, somebody have to take the responsibility. And definitely, when there's human intervention, definitely there's the entire database is set like proof of getting to failure. Like somebody failed to perform the backup, or somebody have taken the backup quite late. Anything can happen. So this was the reason the cold backup is something which is not taken as option in any kind of live production environment. What we do is hot backup. But in hot backup, cold backup is something which is consistent. Like you have shut down the database completely, no transfers going on. That means all the backup which you have taken for the database and a cold backup would be consistent. When I say I want to take a backup at 12 a.m. midnight and I shut down the database, that means database is consistent because there's no operation going on at all. There's no DML, DDL, no active user at all. That means the cold backup is the most consistent backup ever. But this can't be an option because I cannot afford to have an impact on business. I cannot shut down the application, database, everything, perform backup, anything. I cannot do this thing. In case of hot backup, users active, database is in transaction mode. Every second there's a DML, DDL going on. And at the same time, people are connected. Maybe during the off business hour, like example, now you have a company which is running with 1,000 employees. So after 6 p.m. the daytime, all the users have just left the company. There might be some people who are still working, might be 30, 40, 50 people. But still people are there. The application is running. And top of that, during non-business hour, there are some kind of operations which are actually executing, like some reporting transaction going on, some kind of of business of somebody wants to perform analytics operations on the databases. They want to figure out the databases operations. They want to fetch some data important. The data science team who want to fetch information data, they will perform their backup or any kind of select query and fetch data from database during the non-business hours. That is some kind of operations going on because your database is never at rest. Your database is never at rest. Something would be going on in the hot backup in case of the database in the live production environment. And during that time, you want to take a backup. Definitely, your RAM, CPU might be performing some other tasks like DML, DDL, or any kind of database related query or any operations. At the same time, you want to take a backup. That means you need to have a good amount of memory, that's called RAM, and CPUs. So your hardware component overhead needs to be good as compared to cold backup, because in cold backup, when you perform backup, that's the only task that database has to do. And also during the cold backup, database is not going to perform anything. You are just going to backup, only backup. But in hot backup, the database has to do two things. First, you have to perform the normal operation for the users, application users, and database its own operations like the background processes, writing DBW, writing dirty buffers from buffer cache to the data files on the on the OS. Same time writing to the reader log. At the same time writing to the archive logs. Top of that, it also have to perform the backup which you have initiated. That again, the CPU, RAM, core CPUs will be required. Workers will be required. So how actually backup is performed. Now, my target is the database should be consistent for backup. So there is one concept called archive log enablement. Archive log. Log. So what is archive log? Every second, every minute, your database is performing some kind of action. It is like you have updated one table. Now you have inserted a table, updated a table. So every second there is some transaction going on. So archive log is something as a log which records all the changes, all the transaction which you have done. Not just records, it is actually records. So archive sends a reader log. This reader log. So what the reader log does? Any idea? You have seen this?
Roll back.
Let's understand. Now you have updated lesson table EMP you have created a table EMP. Now you're performing some kind of operation on the table, like update table and perform the commit. So when you commit the operation, the DBWR background process, which writes the changes which we have made to database to the data files on the data files from from buffer cache. At the same time, your database also writes what changes you have made. It's going to write what changes you have made to database in the read logs called logs. Imagine now you have withdrawn some money from a bank account. At the same time, you also have a job of to maintain your diary in which you write, I have withdrawn 4,000 for the bank. Now you're going to spend for the grocery, you $2,000 something. Now you are recording some transaction in your book. And also at the same time, you also have bank balance. So at the end of the day, now when you're trying to figure it out, that you want to calculate how much you have spent for the entire day, you will calculate with the help of a diary and you will match with the bank account balance which is remaining. So in the same way, Oracle database also does, it writes the dirty buffers from data files to data files from buffer cache. At the same time, it also records in logs what changes it have made. So tomorrow, if your database goes down with the like it gets crashed and it comes back, it should first know what changes I have made in the last transaction. It have to remember. In order to remember what changes had made to database, it goes to the logs and fetches what changes we had made. Now, what the changes which it have made, first it will go in data files and will fetch whether changes are reflecting or not. If not, then it will need those transactions to recover. So this is the job of reader log is to record the changes made. The changes which was made database is not in reader logs, but it's recorded logs. It's a log. Changes are already made. Buffer cache have the changes. It's being written in data files. But what change? Who will know what change you have made? That's the road of reader logs. Now let's bring archive log. Now archive log, it will have the live changes. Whatever update command you have done, table, it will have the same DML operations performed in their archive log in the name of archive logs. Now, why archive log is used? Let's understand. Primary, and this is my database. Now, my company have a database. Now we have two databases. One is primary, one is standby. And this is called standby. Why if you have primary standby? If tomorrow, this is my operating system, Linux environment, Red Hat Linux, on which I am running my database. Now tomorrow, if I want to perform upgrade, I want to upgrade my operating system. That means I have to shut down the database. I have to upgrade because the Linux environment needs, I mean, any environment, if you want to upgrade, you need to restart the operating systems. So in that case, first I have to shut down my database primary. But it's a very it's a production environment. I cannot afford time to shut down it. Example of banking applications. So in banking, you cannot put your database down an application. In that case, I will have primary and standby. I will switch. I will switch. I will put this primary database to standby and shut down the database. That means your database is still up and running. And in case of crash, now imagine my database is got crash, this primary got crash. So I need to have all the transaction which was going on with the database needs to be same replica somewhere. For that also standby is used. So primary and standby are nothing but it's a copy of each other. How do they copy each other? So this archive log which you have seen, so all the transaction which is going in database gets recorded in archive log. And these archive logs are generated on the primary. Archive logs are generated in the primary database. And with the help of some background processes, they are shipped via network to standby. They will be shipped via network to standby. And vice versa will happen. Vice versa means like now the transaction happened, it performed, the commit is committed, DBWR writes have written to data files. At the same time, the changes, the recorded, the transaction, real-time transaction was also recorded in archive logs. And those archive logs will be shipped over the network to the standby side. And now the database is gonna reverse. It's gonna record the changes which was done in archive log to perform the same thing. Now you have updated a table. Table emp set emp underscore member equals to where emp underscore name equals to Johnny. So this transaction is recorded in archive logs. Okay, log. Now the same transaction will be recorded where? In standby with the help of what? Archive logs. With the help of archive logs. The process of turning reader log file into archive logs is called archiving. This process is only possible if the database is running in archive log mode. You can choose automatic or manual archiving. An archive reader logs is a copy of one field member of reader log group. It includes the reader log entries and the unique log sequence number of the identical number of the log group. For example, if you are multiplexing your logs, and if group 1 contains identical member files, log A underscore log 1, B underscore log 1, the archive process will archive one of this log file. Should archive log become corrupted, then archive will archive the identical log 1, B underscore log 1. The archive log contains a copy of every group created since you enabled archiving. And what are used for recovery database? Update a standby, get information about the history of the database using log miner. So all the transactions which you're doing over here, it's now recorded in archive logs. And those archive logs shipped to standby side, and the same kind of changes which you have made on the primary would be applied to the standby. Now there are two standbys. One is active standby, one primary standby, just standby. Active standby means in case you can perform the role switchover. You can turn this prime into standby and this standby into primary. That's called active standby, active transfer. And that's why we use archive logs. And there are more useful of archive logs. Now imagine I have one primary database. That's a primary. Only one database. single node database. Database size is 2 TB. Now I want to perform backup. Now on Sunday, now I want to perform backup. Backup Sunday. Monday. Now, if I want to perform backup of this database to DB production, it's a production environment. Production. Now, do you think I can perform? Do you think I have to perform the backup of the production environment daily?
No, I think the same. Do the hard backup of the daily, the incremental, and then do the full backup on weekend.
Yes, the reason is on Sunday I will take a full backup called backup level 0. It's called 0 level backup. Backup. Full backup. Okay. That means now database was full backup. The size of database would be backup size would be around like might be like 250 GB. Because now I have also, with the help of compression size, I have done 250 GB. Now this backup takes how much time? 4 to 5 to 6 hours. Okay. If I am performing backup, daily backup, full backup every day, so like 5 to 6 hours I have to spend for the backup itself. Up on top of that, I need to have 250 GB of database backup. Top of that, every company maintains their last backup recovery backup history for at least 5 to 6 months. 5 to 6 months, every backup which I have taken. Let's example, take today I have a backup of 250 GB. Now this backup will be in my storage on this storage for next 6 months. And after that, I will delete my backup, old backup, if tomorrow. Okay. So just imagine 250 into 60. How much of memory will be used, storage will be used. So you need huge number of huge memory data storage for the storing the backup. Instead of that, what I will do, I will put my database in archive mode. Its archive is enabled. Archive is enabled. Now, instead of full backup, on Monday, I will perform incremental backup called backup level 0. Incremental backup. What is incremental backup? Go check that on Sunday you have a backup. So since Sunday, there is change only of 100 GB data. So now it will back up only 100 GB. The recent changes which was done from the last backup, only those things would be backed up. And now my backup after the incremental size is 25 GB, which is quite affordable. This is meant 50 GB, whereas 250 GB and 25 GB. Now this is one. So every day, on every weekday, I'm going to perform my incremental backup. Now, let's tomorrow, on Thursday, we found that some data is corrupted. Data corrupted is reported. Now, data corrupted is reported. Unless you do not fix data corrupted, you cannot perform the backup. Your backup won't happen. Your backup won't initiate, by the way, if database found, because when you initiate a backup, the first thing the backup is going to do is going to check the validation of the data. It's called validation of it's called validity of the data, validation of the data. If there is any corruption in the database, you cannot perform any kind of backup. Forget a backup, you cannot even perform any kind of patches in the future on database. Now I have to roll back either between Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday and Thursday. Not exactly Wednesday, because at the half of my business hour, the data corruption was reported. Might be at the end of the day, while taking a backup, I came to know that there is corruption. But I don't know what is the time of the corruption. I have no idea. On top of that, some of my entire business day is completed. So I need all those transactions which have happened for the entire day. Where those will be recorded? In archive logs. What is archive log? The recent transaction which you have done for the database. It records all these transactions. So with the help of archive logs, now in between is it's the gap between this one, okay? This archive. Now what I will do, I will restore database for my complete backup. When was the complete backup taken? Sunday. I will apply incremental backup, restore backup till Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And on Wednesday, I'm going to wait for some time. I'm going to record the archive. So archive is something, how it happened. Like archive is something like ARCH underscore PRD. Name of the database, SID name underscore 3455 dot ARCH. Again, ARCH underscore PROD underscore 4567 dot ARCH. So you can see the number is also maintained. Okay, it's a incremental number. Now what I will do, till Wednesday, I will apply the incremental backups which I have taken, will restore with the help of that one. And then I will apply this archive manually till the time I cannot see any issue. Till Thursday midway, I will apply this archive logs. So archive log is very important because every transaction which you do for the database gets recorded in the archive. So instead of performing the entire backup, I will put my database in archive mode. At the end of the day, I will take the backup of the archives. Now, instead of there's two options. I can take the backup of the entire database, plus I can take a backup of archives also with the help of RMAN. Later on, we will do that one. But now, everywhere there's a gap. That gap is filled by the archives. And I can take the backup of the archives also. So the goal over here is for the archive is that you can perform on time or till time recovery with the help of archives. Lakshmi, did you got this one?
Yes, Vivek.
So archive is an optional. When you start database, archive is optional. It comes and you can shut it down manually or you can start it down. Example, let's see our database, whether it's in archive mode or not. It's database archive mode enabled. Okay. It's enabled. You can see the log sequence for next log sequence called database. Log file, I think that's the system, I think. This is the archive log format. You can see the archive log format. Every day by default, you can see 675 for every day backup is taken. It's auto backup enabled. So every day this archive have taking backup with the name of .arc process. So this is the archive live. And this is the destination. You can see what is 250 GB. So this is the size set for the archives to store in a directory. So you can enable, you can increase this or decrease this. It depends on you. Yeah. So sometime if you do not want to hold a huge number of archive logs, what you can do is like you can set this memory, and once this memory gets full, your archive won't generate more archive logs. It's gonna stop there. So you can take the backup and delete this manually. And this is the for the backup is taken for the archive logs. Still need 24. And see how to enable disable the archive log, changing database archive log. Right now, I can see the archive log is enabled. Log into archive log list. Archive mode, automatic enabled. It's enabled. Now, if I want to disable it, first I have to shut down database. Shut immediate. Put database in mount state. I can see database log mode, no archiving, automatic archiving disabled. It's an optional process, okay? And once you yeah, this is the archive background process, ARC. This is also dev database. So now if I shut down the archive, yeah, you can see the database in no archive mode. The background process will move. There wouldn't be background process. Once you put database in archive mode, you can see the background process. So there is a number of 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have By default, 3 background process for archive is configured. You can increase or decrease as per your requirement. Okay, then let's catch up tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow morning.
Sure.
Okay, goodbye then. Bye, Sandeep. Bye, Lakshmi.